Good afternoon once again. I have been introduced, so I do not need to do that. And I'm going to start exactly where Andy left off. I'm not going to go into digital transformation and the benefits it brings and the ways we can do it. I'm going to talk to you as an IT professional to an IT person as to how can we manage all the chaos that's being created. So, I'm not going to talk about any of these except to make one point. I'll just touch upon RPA in a bit. But as we have heard before, these technologies are here, are on their way here, are coming, and will be disruptive, right? But disruption is nothing new to us in technology. When the ERP came about, that was disruption too. When server virtualization came about, that was disruption too. Relational database was disruption. Services-oriented architecture was also disruption, right? Think about those and think about these five. And the way you go about that set of disruption and these sets of disruption is significantly different. And I'll tell you why. The earlier set, and let's pick up ERP as an example. You procured ERP, you bought a lot of infrastructure to run that ERP, and you had a project, a well-defined project, with a project kickoff, milestones, go live, training, testing, blah, 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 blah. Budgets defined for it, people defined for it, award given, project implemented in your organization. And voila, your way of working has changed. Secondly, you are fairly confident of the amount of compute power that this disruption would require, and you provisioned for it, and you provisioned also for peaks, right? Now, when you look at this set of technologies, they do not fall into that category. These set of disruptors actually need something more. They actually are not bound by the project definitions that you would have in your organization. They are a continuous evolvement. Sizing them for performance is incredibly difficult. It's virtually impossible to size it. And so the way we need to approach these are also different. And let me start by giving you one example about the robotic process automation. It's a process whereby which you pick up a process within your organization involving multitudinous times repeated, an important task, but continuously repeated. And it's something which you clearly see the benefits of automating, right? Let's say you automate the process and it's running, you have implemented RPA technology and you have automated a process. Is your project finished? No, it's not. How can you size an RPA requirement? Where do you size it? The answers are not as simple as they were in the past. It is a journey. Most of today's disruptive technologies are a journey, which means there will be ups and downs and lefts and rights. And let us discuss now what will be the way of the future by giving one customer example. Do you know that you can become a digital resident of Estonia? It's a small country, around 1.5 million people population in Europe, and it offers you a digital residency. You can become a digital citizen of this country. And while one might think that, okay, so what, you just take the details and you set up a register and you're a digital citizen of this group or that group or this country also, what's the big deal? The big deal is that in Estonia, you can do everything that a normal citizen could by becoming just a digital citizen including setting up an entire business, renting premises, applying for the right licenses, hiring people, paying them, conducting business, and the list goes on. There are two processes which are still underway, and they're thinking of making them also entirely digital. And one is the land and the property purchase, which still requires physical signatures, and there's another process which I do not remember. But just imagine you going back to your organization tomorrow morning and telling them that, look, I can help you set up a business in the European Union without going there, right? If you think of what this country had to do, and the reason why I picked up a country as an example, government, in essence, is that there are no barricades to the disruption. We cannot say that, oh, you are in e-marketing model or e-business model like Amazon and Flipkart, so you need technology and you need things and so on and so forth. I am in this part of the business and I don't. My customers are just big, large government organizations. What would I do with it? The thing is that when consumers start getting affected by technology, their expectations set in that even their suppliers and their customers and the government and the services all are keeping pace with what's going on in the market and what they are used to as a consumer. If Gmail can give you a GB of data, you're going to go and ask and question your official or your company's email ID or company's email provider that why can't I get a GB of data from you as well for my inbox, right? So let's get into how can we do it. Now I picked up certain points from the CIO survey which we have conducted across Europe and India as well, Middle East and India as well in 2017. And if you see the words that I've highlighted in red, the words are still the same, since which we have been seeing since 20 years. I need my IT to be agile. I need more value, ROI, so on and so forth. But there is a subtle difference again from previous times, from the previous survey results and comments that used to come across in these kind of surveys. Today's IT is grappling with the fact that their business is demanding more solutions in different ways, and they don't really care about the traditional IT in the IT sense that we see it. For example, marketing departments are taking their own decision on marketing automation software or marketing relationship management software. Sales department is saying, no, this CRM that we have is very buggy, too much difficult. We will go and take license from Salesforce, and that will be a SaaS provided out of the cloud. And we have decided, we have spoken to the industry, we have spoken to competition, Salesforce is the best CRM, or whatever the case might be. Business departments are taking decision, and they expect the IT to keep pace. Business departments aren't thinking provisioning, aren't thinking security, aren't thinking that. They want the application to use as a business, and they don't care about what's happening behind. And unfortunately, that caring is still left to us in IT. We have to care about it, right? So how can we succeed given this set of circumstances that we find ourselves in? Number one, while the heading says understand your business and the impact of IT, I would just add on one more point. Understand your business. I'm not sure if you can all read it, but even if you can read just the headline, it's perfectly okay. I'll take you through the slide. What I would say is, you need to understand your business, the different departments, what they want, what they need, what they are looking forward. And you also need to understand changing IT at the same time and the applicability of the new changed world of IT to your business departments. You need to be the change enablers and not the laggards. You have to follow the change, you have to make the change happen. And rather than the departments come to you, it is also entirely possible that you go to the different business departments and tell them that this is what IT can deliver for you. We in the IT department We are in a position to succeed by understanding the business requirements and by enabling the change, by speaking to the businesses, explaining to them what can we deliver for them, making it happen, and most importantly, from an internal IT perspective, making sure that this all is managed well, and that is possible. How do we go forward? How do we do this? How do we manage all this complexity? How do we manage all this complexity? How do you manage when one department has chosen a CRM, which is a SaaS delivery model to us? Another department wants something else. A third person is looking at an artificial intelligence kind of for their R&D behavior application. The way we do this is we study the existing and the planned set of services and applications which we have. And this is a very highly simplistic diagram, block diagram, which was there earlier, and I'm sure will come back up. The way we do this is we study the existing set of application stack and services that we are delivering to the organization. We see how they are being hosted or how they are being run, and we apply a due diligence process to each and every application and service that the IT team is delivering. Yeah, next. I think it's working now. Correct. That's good. And the most critical part in this slide is the thing in the center. We put everything through this decision process, and an even more significant part is that you can see that for each of these applications and services, what you will come across is that there are diverse methods to host that application and service and deliver it in the most effective way to the organization. And in several cases, you might come across that you need multiple sources, probably a combination of a public cloud. Amazon, for example, hosted with a small little backup inside your premise. You might find that when you put it through this process, you might find that you are even needing a combination of deployment methodologies to make sure that that application runs perfectly well for your organization. What Gartner published in 2015, and surprisingly for IT is still relevant, is that they said that eventually the IT team in companies will have to act like an IT services brokerage, right? Because, and the reason for that is that the demands on IT are going to be so disparate, are going to be so changing, are going to be so difficult to size, and are going to be needed in different ways than ever before, that the IT teams will have to act more like a brokerage or like an IT coordinator. And that's the way the IT teams will be in the future. So if you look at it, today business users are using different cloud services. Some applications are on Microsoft Azure. You have an Office 365. You have probably a CRM taken by Salesforce.com. You have some applications running on a Fujitsu cloud, public cloud for corporates, a B2B cloud, and so on and so forth. And you might have some stuff running in your own data centers. And different sets of business users are using different sets of these. What you need is, you need a cloud services management or a methodology or a tool set which can take away the complexity of that model, because that model, if you recall all the arrows going left and right, it's a nightmare to manage, right? We have to think of security and so on and so forth, as I've been telling. If I were to really simplify it, a layer in between the users and the providers which can manage things in a central point is what would solve the problem, right? Because these guys are the expert in managing them, right? Different parts of the company are not, there are not 27 IT contracts and renewals and monthly subscriptions which different departments are doing. It's all consolidated. This is a very simplistic way of putting it, and I'll tell you how, but it gets managed. It gets managed because the layer on top, the layer interacting with business users, can be split into two, whereby the users get whatever they need, absolutely whatever they need. And this is a flexible model because you can keep on adding services to the needs of the users as and when they change. They want a service, they get it. 6 months later, they say, no, we don't want it anymore, we want service B, they get that. And the same layer is always pervasive and also speaks to the IT department, which manages all the operational necessities that an IT department should manage. The IT team acts as an approver. It doesn't act as the blockage for different departments. It acts as an approver or as a consultant for different departments. It approves the utilization or use of SaaS by doing security checks, background checks, so on and so forth. And they work at an orchestration layer, signing probably a single or two contracts with service providers, who then manage probably 7 to 8 to 10 different contracts underneath, right? So this model, operational model, is simplified for the business users as well as for the IT team, while allowing full flexibility and operational control and ease of commercial utilization. Sorry. A simple way of going about it, and this is the process which Fujitsu follows, a 7x7 model. You look at the different layers of IT, and you take them through a standard project that you would anyway deploy in your organization, but with a view of the 4 red oblong shapes which I told earlier about, with a view to commonalize and manage a hybrid and a diverse environment. And you look at each of these stacks, and if you look at each of the application services running on each of these layers of IT, you can take yourselves through this project and have a completely consolidated operating environment, taking into account disparate needs. Let me give you a real-life example of a manufacturing customer. I won't tell you which this manufacturing customer is, but I'll give you hints as to who it is. It is a British and an American company manufacturing tobacco products. So this company had got 100+ data centers. They have operations in, I think, most parts of the world. They're present in more than 50 to 60 countries, and they've moved from cigarettes to e-cigarettes, and the normal process which every company follows. Now, the services that their employees, suppliers, customers, distributors, blah, 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 were using was spread out, clubbed geographically in a small area for smaller countries, and absolutely standalone delivery mechanisms for the larger countries. And in fact, multiple delivery mechanisms for larger countries of operations. From 110 global data centers in 20 countries, it took us 18 months. And the reason why it takes 18 months is because it is a very complex environment, but also because you already have contracts running with your IT providers. So some is ending in Jan, some in December. You cannot walk out of all contracts, you lose money, so on and so forth. So while taking all that into account, in the 7x7 matrix, or the methodology which I described earlier, we were able to time and begin shifting after an initial assessment and blueprint session. It took us a period, cumulative 18 months of time to shift their entire operations close down 110 global data centers and move everything onto an Azure managed service. One portal. So, my second last slide. My message to everyone in IT is that don't go and tell this story, or don't go and show the white papers about how you can manage and how you can do and how you can deliver and how you can make and change the environment. Show it to your organization. Pick up a troublesome process, pick up a troublesome area of operations, and don't constrain yourself that, oh, my backend is mainframe and the front end is on the mobile platform, and don't constrain yourself technologically. Pick up a troublesome, problematic area which you have been hearing complaints about, but no one has ever managed to find the money because it is two different departments or two different geographies or whatever. Pick it up, put it through the study, put it through the matrix that we just went through, put it through a simplistic process, try and automate it, try and bridge it to the cloud, pick up a non-critical application, demonstrate and show your company that it is possible to have completely secure, great IT operations which can be sized up and down as needed and deliver splendid ROI while retaining full control, even though it might be hosted on a AWS or Google or Amazon or Oracle Cloud or whatever, right? So this is my recommendation for you to take your first step into an entirely hybrid environment. And once you do this, you can just keep on doing this, and this will enable your organization to step into the future, to adopt technologies as and when needed, and it will enable your organization to digitize with confidence. So thanks a lot, everyone, for listening to me. I hope I have made sense, and I hope that you take your first steps into this world of digitization. Thank you very much.